Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into what is, frankly, a secret weapon. It's how smaller businesses, even solopreneurs, can seriously outsmart their bigger rivals. We're talking about AI-powered competitive intelligence. So let's get right into it and see how you can turn their massive size into your biggest advantage. You ever have that feeling? You know the one. You launch something you're really proud of. A new feature, a big sale. And it feels like within hours, your main competitor has already matched you or done something similar. It's frustrating, right? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not magic and it's definitely not luck. It's a strategy. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how you can use it too.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll talk about why this gives you a totally new edge. Then, we'll look at the AI toolkit you'll need. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of putting it all into action. Then, my favorite part, we'll see some real-world proof, and we'll wrap up with how this all becomes your long-term strategic advantage.
Okay, let's jump into our first section. Look, the old way of spying on your competition, it's pretty much dead. We've made a huge leap from just guessing to having a real data-backed game plan.
And this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, that's the old world. You've got those clunky manual spreadsheets. You're maybe checking in on your rivals once a week if you're lucky, and a lot of your decisions are based on just a gut feeling. But on the right, that's where we are now. AI does the scanning for you, automatically. You get alerts in real time the second something important happens. And all that noise out there, it gets turned into clear, data-driven insights you can actually use.
All right, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great, but how do we actually do it? Well, you need the right tools in your belt. So this section is all about the actual software that makes this possible. These are the tools of the trade.
Now, there's no single magic bullet tool that does it all. You kind of have to pick your weapon based on the fight. So Crayon is an amazing all-rounder for watching what your rivals are doing on their websites and with their products. If you're really focused on marketing and ads, Compte is fantastic for that. For anything SEO-related, SEMrush is still the king. Brand24 is like your ear to the ground for social media, listening for what people are saying about them. And Visual Ping, it's super simple but powerful. It literally just watches for visual changes on a web page, perfect for tracking a price change.
But when you boil it all down, these tools give you three huge advantages. First, speed. You know what's happening the moment it happens, not a week later. Second, clarity. The AI is going to spot patterns and connections that you would almost certainly miss if you're doing it by hand. And third, and maybe most importantly, focus. You stop guessing what to do next. The data shows you where to put your energy. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. I know what you might be thinking. This sounds super expensive, super complicated. Isn't this really just for the giant corporations with endless budgets? And the answer, honestly, is no, not anymore. That used to be true, but the game has completely changed. A lot of these tools have plans designed for startups, and some even have free versions to get you going. This technology is officially democratized. It's for everyone now.
So that brings us to the really fun part. How do you actually turn this on? How do you get started? We've boiled it down to a really simple 5-step launch plan that, seriously, anyone can follow.
Okay, here it is, your action plan. Step 1, define your radar. Don't try to watch everyone, that's just noise. Pick your top 3 to 5 key competitors. Step 2, pick your tools, based on what we just talked about. Step 3, set up your alerts. You want this information pushed to you, maybe in an email digest or a Slack channel. Now, step 4 is absolutely crucial. Look for patterns, not just data points. A single price change might not mean much, but a pattern of changes does. That's a signal. And finally, step 5, turn those insights into action. Go adjust your strategy, create that piece of content, test that new pricing, make a move.
Theory is one thing, but what about the results? Does this stuff actually work? Let's look at some real-world wins that show just how powerful this can be. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
So first up, let me tell you about this small e-commerce fashion brand. They were getting absolutely destroyed in price wars. They'd launch a new collection, and almost instantly their competitors would undercut their prices, and they'd lose out on sales.
So what changed? They started using AI to track competitor pricing in real time. This let them be way more strategic and nimble. And the result? Their profit margin jumped from a shaky 14% to a very healthy 22%. They didn't just survive the price war. They started winning it.
Okay, next story. A SaaS startup. Their growth had just flatlined. They'd hit a plateau and were stuck. So they decided to use AI, but not to see what their competitors were doing, but to see what they weren't doing. And here's what they found. They discovered their rivals were totally ignoring Tier 2 cities in their marketing. It was a blind spot. So they pivoted their whole strategy to target that untapped market. And in just 3 months, they added over 1,450 new users. That's growth that came directly from a data-driven insight.
And look, this isn't just a couple of nice stories. The data backs it up on a bigger scale. Research from Polaris Intelligence actually found that companies using AI-powered intel respond to what's happening in the market a full 34% faster than companies using the old-school methods. I mean, that's the difference between chasing the market and leading it.
And you might be wondering, okay, faster is nice, but does it translate to growth? Yes, it absolutely does. Research from Shopify found that businesses that are actively using competitive intelligence are 36% more likely to see year-over-year revenue growth. So this isn't just about playing defense, it's about playing offense.
So let's bring this all home. Let's talk about the final takeaway. You now have the playbook to turn raw information into a real, decisive strategic advantage. It's not about the data itself. It's about what you do with it.
But, and this is so important to remember, AI is not a silver bullet. The tools are amazing. They'll give you the what, the when, and they'll even hint at the why. But your human judgment, your expertise, that's the irreplaceable part of the equation. You are still the strategist. The AI is your co-pilot, but you are flying the plane.
I just love this quote because it sums up the entire mindset shift perfectly. A competitor making a move is no longer something you have to react to in fear. It's a signal. It's an opportunity. It's your green light to launch your own counterattack, one that is automated, accurate, and incredibly fast.
So we'll end on this final thought. It's not a stretch to say that your savviest competitors are already using this stuff. So the question isn't really if you should be using AI intelligence anymore, it's how you're going to use it. Now that you know all this, what's going to be your first move?